Some mobile updates from E3 and the next generation of touchscreen technology today on AppJudgment. This episode of AppJudgment is brought to you by JackThreads. Hello and welcome to AppJudgment, your source for mobile app news and reviews from Revision 3. Now, you're probably aware that this past week was E3, and many of our comrades at Revision 3 were down in LA doing the important work of covering the latest in gaming. Not us, though. We were here in the office doing the equally important work of reading our Twitter feeds and explaining how this affects you and your mobile device. And here's what we have so far. First, we're seeing some renewed interest in the Vita. We demoed the PlayStation Vita a few months back right as it launched and found it was a pretty cool gaming experience. We especially liked the augmented reality capabilities found on games like Reality Fighter. And since then, the chief complaint about the PlayStation Vita has been simply a lack of titles. So not surprisingly, Sony did showcase a number of new titles for the Vita, including All-Stars Battle Royale, which features full cross-play support between the Vita and the PS3. So in other words, the ultimate in cross-play action using characters across different games and across different devices. Other announcements, a revamped PlayStation Mobile for Android, which used to be PlayStation Suite. Sony has teamed up with HTC to bring the mobile gaming platform to a whole new cross-section of mobile users. This also includes the PlayStation Mobile Development Program Open Beta, which aims to foster a fertile atmosphere for all of you developers. Now, we are shooting this episode a little bit early on Wednesday, so be sure to head over to Rev3 Games for complete coverage of E3 2012. Coming up, what could be the next frontier of user interfaces, but first let's thank JackThreads. Only suckers pay full price. If you love alternative apparel brands like Kid Robots, Stussy, and Hurley, but hate spending all your cash on them, listen up. Guess what? You can score these premium brands for up to 80% off every single day. There's a new invite-only shopping club just for guys called JackThreads, serving up street, skate, and surfwear brands at prices that will change your life forever. There is a waitlist to join, but not for you as an AppJudgment viewer. If you go to jackthreads.com/appjudge, you can start getting these deals right now. All right, so let's quickly take a look back at human history. Centuries ago, Ferdinand Magellan blew everyone's minds when he discovered that the world was round, not flat. Fast forward a few centuries, Apple blew everyone's minds again when they released the first touchscreen phone.
Annie,
And
that's not true,
that's all you need to know about human history.
That's not true, Annie. None
That's-
of that is true.
That's all you need to know.
None of that you need to know.
Well, now a company called Tactus wants to change everything again with a new technology they're calling Tactile Layer.
For years, people believed that the world was flat. They were wrong. For years, people believed the touchscreens were only flat. They were wrong.
Tactus says that its layer panel is the world's first deformable tactile surface capable of creating dynamic physical buttons. What does that actually mean? It means that when entering data, buttons appear that actually feel like physical buttons. And when you're done, they retract back into the screen with no trace of their presence. Pretty cool. Now, it's hard to actually assess this yet because we can't touch it, but we'll definitely be keeping an eye on this one. Finally, I asked you guys what features you would want from the new iPhone, which Apple CEO Tim Cook dropped some hints about last week. On YouTube, RoboAddy commented that all I want is a phone that sends SMS, makes calls, helps me find my way around, and keeps me organized. I have an iPhone 4, so I'm happy. All very reasonable, but as it turns out, we might be seeing some major improvements to the finding your way around part of that. Now, anyone who's ever gotten bad directions or had trouble navigating a poor service area knows the frustration of Google Maps. But this week, Google announced they'll be offering offline caching for their service. Now, it's not too hard to speculate that this is an effort to undercut Apple's rumored plans to release its own native mapping service, possibly with some kind of 3D integration. We'll definitely learn more about this next week, but no doubt all this competition will be a good thing for those of us who just want to find our way back to the freeway. That's all I got for today, but as always, you can find the show on Twitter, on Facebook, on Google+, on YouTube, and as always on our homepage at revision3.com/appjudgment. And you can find me on Twitter at AnnieGuess. See you next time.